Hey guys, this is Moxie here. I am making a Borderlands 3 build video for Amara. I've seen a lot of people posting Amara builds on YouTube and in Reddit and asking for help, and a lot of them were just wrong or were missing something, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. In my opinion, this is the best build for Amara for cooperative play with teammates that isn't melee. I've tried melee, it is very viable and is very good, but I prefer to play this. I'm gonna put in my skill points and explain as I go into what I'm doing and why, and how everything synergizes together. So first off, this build is all about Samsara. Samsara is Amara's best ability, in my opinion. With the class mod into it, you can get 45% of your max health per second and 45% of your gun damage. 45% increased gun damage, which is crazy. And the duration is 20 seconds. So the duration being 20 seconds, the amount of health regen is very important, and it's based off of how many people you hit. And that's very key with your action ability. Action skills like Phasegrasp and such, and these are hard to hit 5 enemies with. And abilities such as Phasegrasp, Eternal Fist, and Ties That Bind do not count for damage. So you can't actually use Samsara and these two together. You won't get any stacks of Samsara. So how do we get Samsara stacks? And that's what I'm going to go through. So this build is a little bit tanky, has a lot of utility, and does a lot of damage. So we're going to start off in the Brawl tree. When you're first leveling, I'd recommend getting Clarity, but since I have the points, and I'm not level 50 yet, but I'm just going to tell you where I'd put the points, because we're pretty far in right now. So Root to Rise is going to be 5 out of 5 points. That's going to give us plus 40% health. I have a class mod into personal space, so I'm not going to put points into that. And then I have Samsara. Now 2 out of 3, and we want this maxed, 5 out of 3. So, and now I'm going to get 8.3 of my max health per second per stack, and we're going to get 5 stacks consistently. And gun damage. And this is what makes Amara God mode. I'm level... What level am I? 43, and I've died maybe once this whole playthrough. And next, this is how I would do it if I was leveling. I take that back. If you're leveling, I would just get Samsara and go into the Brawl tree up until you can go all the way down into Fist Over Matter, because Fist Over Matter is the most important thing that we're going to be getting in this tree. So Anima is really good, increases your status effects, duration, and damage, and your action skill effect damage, which is really good. If you apply a status effect to enemies with the right gun, they will just die. The status effect will last so long that they will eventually just die. Tempest is going to increase our elemental damage, which is a no-brainer, and shock damage is further increased. So we're going to keep shock as our action augment. Dread is good. It's not the best thing ever, but it's good. Gun damage plus 15%, and we're going to be... That'll help us out a lot during our action skill. And then Infusion. Infusion is a little bit of a tricky skill. It's a little bit hard to understand, and hopefully in this video I will be linking a Redditor whose name I will include in the description. Posted a thing to Reddit about all of the mathematical breakdown of how Infusion works. So we're going to put 4 out of 5 points into Infusion. Deep Well is a solid skill. I use mainly elemental weapons, so this is just going to increase our magazine size with it. Indiscriminate, we're going to put 3 out of 3 into. And then here for this point, you can put 1 into Catharsis. It's not going to do that much, but you're going to be pulling all the enemies in together. So sometimes it can set off like chain reactions. But for this, I'm going to recommend putting the last point into Infusion. Now that we put our last point into Infusion, we can get Fist Over Matter. Fist Over Matter is an amazing skill. So what's different about Fist Over Matter versus the Eternal Fist and Ties That Bind is that Fist Over Matter is going to proc Samsara stacks. So this this slamming, the large fists that smash the area, every time the fists smash are going to give us a stack, and they'll smash 5 times. So you're guaranteed 5 stacks of Samsara, and that's what makes this so powerful. So you're guaranteed to hit an enemy 5 times as long as it doesn't die before then. And with Allure, you're going to be pulling in multiple enemies, so you should have 0 problems keeping up Allure, or keeping up your Samsara stacks. However, this cooldown is 28 seconds, and Samsara's duration is only 28 seconds. So there's 8 seconds where we are super vulnerable, but we can change that. So in this tree, this doesn't give us any status effect chance, and as I said, our dots are going to be super powerful. So we're going to put 5 out of 5 into here. Violent Tapestry, that's going to give us a lot of effect chance. We're going to put 5 out of 5 into Restless, and now what this does is our cooldown rate is 25%, which makes the cooldown of Fist over Matter 21 seconds, and our Samsara stacks are 20 seconds. This means that there's only going to be, if you have constant enemies in front of you, there's only going to be 1 second where you aren't regenerating like 45% of your max health per second. So basically God mode. If you could just duck, if you don't get killed in that 1 second, you're practically invincible. We're going to put this point in Ascendant. This is going to make our lure radius grab even more people, so this huge singularity is going to be grabbing everyone. We're going to have ricocheting to all of them. All of them are going to be getting because of this ricochet, and that's why I don't put points into Wildfire. Wildfire is good if you don't have this ricochet skill yet, indiscriminate, but our bullets are going to have such high status effect chance that when we do shoot at an enemy, it's going to ricochet, and when they hit other enemies, they're going to get our dots. The reason I don't put points into do harm here at the moment is because if our action skill kills an enemy too quickly, we won't get our 5 stacks. So our action skill damage isn't exactly what we're focused on here. We're focused on getting our Samsara stacks. So because of that, we're going to put 3 points here. This is where I run out of points, and I'm just going to show you where the rest should go. So Transcend will get critical hit damage to 21% and accuracy 30% after using your action skill. Duration is 12 seconds, and so about half the time we are going to have critical hit damage plus 27%. And I am level 43, so I should have 7 more points to spend. Those 7 more points, I know this isn't perfect because I'm not level 50, but I'm just going to tell you where they should go. So Transcend, you're going to put 1 last point into there. That's going to give us 3 out of 3 there. Then you're going to put 1 point into Harm. That 1 point into Harm is going to allow us to go down and get Laid Bare. You're going to put 3 points in Laid Bare. Laid Bare is going to give us all the enemies that are pulled into our action skill are going to take 25% increased damage from all sources. This is why this is a great build to play with friends, because with the lure radius, you're going to pull in, our lure radius being increased by 100%, you're going to pull in everything like nearby, even remotely close. Everything's going to get 25% increased damage. Everything's going to have a crazy high dot on it that's going to last until they die. And everything will be dying, and you'll be regenerating health like crazy. And that leaves us, I believe, 2 more points, and I would recommend putting them in Helping Hands. This damage reduction is very helpful, and even though we're practically invincible, the damage reduction is very nice. You could also put those in Personal Space or Clarity. You don't... This damage is nice, but you don't really need it that much. You'll be killing things so fast. And you shouldn't have a problem. I would recommend keeping your action skill augment as Shock from that Redditor's post that I will be linking. He goes into the damage values and what kind of guns you should be using and what provides the most consistent damage. Because if you have fire on as an augment, that means all your bullets are going to be doing fire damage, but sometimes you don't want to be doing fire damage because it actually you'll never lose damage if your base damage is 1,000. Converting your damage, you're never actually going to lose damage, but you will not get as great an increase. For example, if we have Shock on, Shock does increase damage to shields, and if we're using a radiation gun, it's like the Decaying Star Helix, that also does increase damage to shields. With our augment being electric, we are going to be doing radiation and shock damage, and our bullet damage will be doing practically ×3 the amount of damage that it would be doing if it was just a kinetic bullet, because we're getting the bonuses from the radiation and the shock. And I can make another video going into the math of that if need be. The rest of my build isn't super important, as like these, I'm not level 50 and I don't have my perfect class mod or shield or grenade or guns yet. But I would recommend, if you can, getting a good radiation weapon, a good cryo weapon, a good shock weapon, and a good fire weapon. And you will be cruising through things. You want to keep an eye out for things like this that have a really high damage per second on their dot. Like I said, our dots are going to do crazy damage. Something like this with a 40% chance and practically 1200 damage per second. You're going to hit this on every enemy when you shoot it into the radius of a lure, and everything is just going to die. This class mod is exactly what I was looking for. It has the skills we want. Obviously, it's level 16, and I'm looking for a better one that boosts Samsara. Boosting Samsara is the most important thing here, but something along the lines of this. And that is all for the video. I haven't spent any of my Guardian rank points, and I'll make a video more into that when I get the chance. But this is, in my opinion, the best way to play Amara. You're going to have so much sustain from Samsara and so much damage. You're going to be pulling everything in. Everything's going to be grouped up. Everything's going to be getting hit by all of your bullets with dots, with full hit damage. It's insane, and you're going to be able to keep this up only 1 second apart from everything. It is by far and away the best Amara build I've seen, and I wanted to make this video because I feel like some people are not understanding how synergy can be, and I've seen some posts asking people for help, and this is the way that I think that Amara could be played the most effectively. And when the level cap is increased, we'll see what more we can do, and I'll make an updated video. But for now, that is all. I'm going to make another video, hopefully with gameplay from this, because I know how important gameplay is with builds. But I wanted to just do this recording, and I'll do the gameplay recording next. So thank you very much for watching. This is my first Borderlands 3 video, and I'm a super big Borderlands 3 fan. So a like, comment, sharing this would be super appreciated, as really just starting out here. And thank you.